I am live. It is Saturday, the 23rd of September 2023. I didn't read yesterday. I stopped halfway through the chapter which describes the daughter of the concubine, a new visitor who moved in next door to Ra. This is Eyes of Horus. It's a book by Joan Marshall Grants. It is one of her previous lives. She was able to remember her reincarnation. This plays 3,500 years BC, and she is Ra, a boy, a man, who's now married, and he has been advised of a new visitor, a new person who moved in next door, and it turns out, expecting the daughter of the concubine, that it is actually his sister who is traveling in disguise. He's very angry with her. If you'll stop being cross for a few minutes and not interrupt, I will explain, and then you can forget how silly you have been and remember how pleased you are to see me. She patted the cushion beside her, and rather reluctantly I sat down to listen. I have often been with Rodan and Hanouk since you went away. I've heard all the news your secret messenger brought to us, and Father showed me all your letters to him as well. I know how Mary has been finding out which of the nobles and officials may become watchers, from hearing about them through their wives. Hanouk himself said it was a pity that some of the most important men had no wives but only concubines, for Mary wouldn't be able to find out about them, because wives and the daughters of wives live in different worlds to the concubines. But concubines sometimes have more power than any other kinds of women. Pharaoh's royal wife has been ill for a long time and never leaves her own apartments, and the secondary wife has no intimates in whom she can confide. Yet there are 200 women in the palace. 1,000 intrigues, 1,000 secrets are whispered every day, and there is no watcher to hear them. If Sibek had had a concubine, she might have come here and worked for us. Or there might have been a watcher in the women's quarter of the House of the Two Winds, but there wasn't. And you said they were all old and stupid. That's why I came here, because I could work for the watchers better in this way than any other. Rodan said he couldn't let me come here without Father's permission, and I knew I'd never get that. So Hanouk helped me to make a plan. I told Father that you had sent for me to come to you as soon as the 40 days' lamentations were completed, and that until then I was going to stay with Rodan. Father has just got a papyrus from the tortoise gnome. It is very old, so old that he gave 2 elephant tusks and a collar of gold for it. So he's far too occupied with this great addition to his history to be suspicious of his daughter. I did go to Hotep Ra, but Rodan was away and Hanouk was there alone. Hanouk had already taken this house for me, and arranged that clothes and furniture and jewels suitable to my new role would be waiting for me. He told me it is not unusual for a rich man to leave a considerable part of his treasure to the daughter of a favorite concubine. Of course, the children of secondary wives rank the same as the children of the chief's wife, but the children of concubines are a caste to themselves. A concubine's daughter may become very powerful, though it is only rarely she is taken in marriage. They are the only kind of women who live in a house of their own without women attendants. And if they are young and rich and virgin, they will soon be asked to every banquet and entertainment, where they will meet the most powerful men in the land, who seek relaxation and are glad to whisper secrets into an ear which charms them. Hanouk must be mad to have led you into this plot. He may be right in thinking that a concubine could find out many things which are still unknown to us, but he should have sent another woman instead of you. Doesn't he realize that if I die without an heir, you will be the oryx? How should we rank among other gnomes if the woman who ruled it had been a concubine? If Hanouk had thought another woman could have done so much as I, he would have sent her. He knows it is rule of the watchers that each shall play the part for which they are best fitted. He trusts my judgment, on which may depend whether a man joins us or is banished from Egypt. You admire Hanuk because he has often travelled in disguise and taken danger for the only companion of his journey. Ra sees my heart and not the colour of my eye paint, and I am as much in his protection as I was when we were children in our father's house. Nothing, I say, will make you change your mind. Nothing, Rahab. You can only decide whether I work with your help or against it, or without it. Can we stop fighting against each other and fight together for Egypt? She slipped her hands into mine. Can we, Rahab? I would never have allowed this plan, but now it is made. Of course I'll help you. She clapped her hands delightedly. I knew you would when you understood. Oh, Ram, I'm so happy that we needn't be pretending to quarrel anymore. You don't seem to have found it so easy to convince Sebek. I didn't try. He was horrified to see me and started to scold me as though I were a naughty child. So I thought it wouldn't do him any harm to go on thinking I'd run away from the Oryx and come here just for an adventure. You'd better go home. Better go back soon and explain things to him before he does something silly like sending a messenger to father. He doesn't know it yet, but he's got to help me. Hanuk says it is quite usual for a woman like me to have a manservant who goes everywhere with her, a kind of bodyguard and cupbearer combined, who remains within call unless she sends him away. It's not that I think I need protecting, but he might overhear as much as I did, and it would be nice to know he was near if I needed him. I shall only take him when I go to the houses of strangers, for while I'm here or out in my litter, I shall be quite safe, for the 8 who came with me from the Oryx as litter bearers and to carry me my travelling boxes are all watchers. Hanuk even found one of them who knew how to cook, so I shan't have to employ strangers to look after me. Hanuk thought you might make Sebek the overseer of your household, or give him some other appointment which would explain to the servants why he was suddenly rich enough to visit the house of the 4 acacias. Then he could go on living with you and carry messages between us without arousing suspicion. And so it was arranged, just as Kias had always intended it should be. The next one is Prince Menhat.